need my 70s for this, huh?
Sure.
I'm Jamie Wine, the Clean Energy Program Manager at Greenbelt Alliance. And I bought, despite not really wanting to buy, an electric car. And now I love it. I'm going to tell you why.
Hey friends, we're on a ride along in Jamie's electric vehicle. We're in downtown Asheville. I'm gonna ask him some questions about what it's like to have this car and how he charges it, gets to work, and all that fun stuff. Hey Jamie.
Hey, how's it going, Summer?
Good. All right, tell me about your car.
What? I thought you were going to ask me questions. My car, I actually didn't want this car.
Okay.
I own a 2015 Nissan Lease. It's double blue, as you probably will see from your videoing. Got the color because my kid liked the color. But my Prius died. There's two power systems on our Prius. There's electric and there's gas, and both of them crapped out on me after 125,000 miles. So I thought, I'm gonna get a car that has one power system, and the IRA, the Inflation Reduction Act, was like, you get $4,000 for that if you buy it from a dealer. So I did. And so now I pay less in gas, and I only have one power system to worry about. And I didn't really like this car actually when I got it, but now I love it.
What are your monthly costs looking like?
Well, I've got my payment. It's about $200 a month because I've got a note on the car. $230, I think. But then the other expense, I replaced the wipers once, but no oil changes, no gasoline, and the estimated like MPG equivalent is like 150 miles per gallon or something like that. And it's I plug it in every night, and I drive about probably 40 miles a day. I live in Swananoa, so I drive it into town for work, and then was that a California stop? Was that like a regular stop? Was that legal?
Hollywood stop?
Oh, geez. So I drive to work, and then sometimes I'll do some errands and then drive home. And if I'm worried about range, because it only has about 80 miles of range, there's a couple chargers in town that I'm going to show y'all that I use that are free.
We're going to one right now, I think, that's free.
I'm headed to the chamber right now.
Great.
Lenore Ryan University at the Chamber of Commerce has 2 chargers, and they're on a different system than the chargers downtown, which is, if I'm honest, annoying.
Yeah, that feels annoying.
The charger system thing is annoying, but they're both free, so you can get basically free gas, right? So you plug in and get to go where you want to go without having to pay to go to the gas station. It's actually kind of weird not going to the gas station. Impossible. I didn't know how to even do it. There's a couple apps you use, like Charge Point, and there's another one. I'm gonna stop so I can look at my phone safely here. It's called
Add a complete step.
Charge Hub, and those two serve me pretty well. But then, like these public stations that are free, sometimes you gotta have an app that you don't have.
I guess it's kind of like all the parking apps around downtown, anyway.
Kinda. And the other station works really well. It has RFID. What does that stand for? Like near field communication, where you can hold your phone up to it and it logs you in. It's really nice.
That's nice.
So you just roll up, open the app, put the phone by the thing, and you're checked in. I can show you that. I took it off eco mode though, so we're gonna, you know.
I don't want to be putting off emissions on this
Here,
drive along.
Eco mode.
We're on eco mode now.
I just turned it back on. See,
Okay.
look at the range. Right now it's 64, and I took it off eco mode, and it's 60, 64, 60. Can you see that?
Yeah.
And so what that does, eco mode just, I don't know exactly what it does, don't quote me, but the way it affects the driving is it throttles your accelerator. So when you push down the pedal, if it's in eco mode, it's a lot slower to respond, so it's like a smoother drive. So you accelerate slower, and that's what makes it eco. Here, I'll do it. Here you go.
Oh.
Isn't that nice? We're only going 35, but we went from like 20 to 35 in like half a second.
That was a lot quicker. Happy to report.
So you do eco mode and you get range, but you turn it off eco mode and you get fun.
Okay.
And so and I think that's what really changed my opinion about this car. Like, I got it and it was okay, and when I turned off eco mode on the second day or something, I was like, oh, that was fun. Yeah. So that instant torque is like the exciting part. And also, so not going to the gas station, that's exciting on my bank statement.
That was fun. And earlier I joked about emissions with us driving around and you off eco mode. But again, there's no gas in this car, so.
I just looked this up yesterday about
about it.
like comparing miles per gallon in an electric car, and it's MPGE is what EPA calls it, and I forget how they do it. It has to do with energy conversion, like the amount of BTUs in oil versus a kilowatt hour, because the batteries are rated in kilowatt hour. So this has 28 kilowatt hour battery, and it says on the dash that I'm getting 3.6 miles per kilowatt hour. And so the general rule of thumb, although I'm sure there's caveats based on the car, the battery, etc., is you multiply the miles per kilowatt hour by 40, and that gets you the MPGE. So that's the equivalent price for energy that you're paying. So right now I'm at 3.6. You multiply by 40, that's 140 miles per gallon.
Yeah.
Equivalent. So that's, as far as price comparisons go, means I'm paying a lot less for the energy to move than if I was using gasoline.
Awesome.
I don't know if that was confusing. It was confusing. I had to like look it up and read it on an article to really get it.
Yeah,
But
maybe we can find that article and
link it in
link
the
it.
notes.
Yeah.
Good idea. Actually, I went on Turo, which is an app where you can rent cars from like other individual people instead of like a national chain. And there's a couple electric cars on there, and I rented one on there and tried it out this summer. So I'd already tried it in Asheville and had already run up against these problems with chargers and range and stuff. So I kind of knew what I was getting into. So you can do that too. Like you could rent one on Turo and check it out.
That's a good idea.
Or maybe people should just email me and borrow my car.
Sure.
I don't know if I signed
I'll
up
leave
for
that
that.
up to him. Yeah, I mean, part of us making this silly video of this drive along was so you know the realities of owning an EV in Asheville. Because there's still some challenges and infrastructure that needs to be in place before it's a perfect system.
Yeah, so and I talked about this before, but like I can drive to work and from work without charging any, and people are like, well, how do you charge it? Don't you need to install an expensive charger? And the answer is not really. The charger is more about convenience, not about battery health. Again, what I read on the internet. And so I just plug into a regular outlet with the charger that came with the car. The specs in the glove box say that it takes 22 or 26 hours to go from 0 to full with that charger. And in a tier 2 charger, it would be 4 or 5 hours. It actually says right on the dash here, there's actually a menu that'll tell you how much charging time based on a tier 1 or a tier 2 charger it needs. But yeah, so I'll get home and it'll still have, I don't know, 30 or 40 miles of range. So you plug it in and it only needs half a battery of juice and it's completely charged and ready to go the next day. So, I mean, think about how often your car is sitting still. And the answer is a lot. Like 90 to 95% of the time, your car is not moving. And so if you're just sitting there, then you just plug it in when you get there, and it's not that big a deal. Actually, this one has a port for one of those tier 3 Tesla power chargers. That's not there. So this was the year when they could kind of get both, and this one doesn't have that option. It just has the tier 1 and the tier 2 port. Okay. And then over here, it's super convenient compared to the other one because you can just open the ChargePoint app. And then once the app's open, you just hold it up to the RFID, and then it does everything for you. It authorizes and unlocks, and then you're good to go.
That's amazing.
That's like way better than the other one, right?
Just so everyone knows, we're in Rankin Garage, downtown Asheville.
Then you plug it in, and it does 1 beep for plugging in, 2 beeps for charging. And you've got an indicator here on the dash that says how full the battery is. 1 is empty, and 3 is full.
All right.
And then it was full. They all lit up, or they're off.
And do you just pay for the garage price, and then this is free?
Yeah, this is free, but not all the ChargePoint charges are free. Just this one. Just the one. The city subsidizes it basically with the parking costs. So it'll tell you how long you've been charging for. It tells you how much power is going in there, which is in kilowatts. So it says 6.2 kilowatts, which means if it's here for an hour, 6.2 kilowatt hours. Which if you translate into kilowatts per mile, you're looking at 20 miles of range per hour. And this is a tier 2 charger, so it charges up pretty quickly. 4 to 5 hours, you can go from 0 to full. And that's why they recommend tier 2 chargers, because of that convenience. Out of the garage, it was free because it was less than an hour, which is nice. And I was just thinking, why? Who should get an EV? Who shouldn't get an EV? And I think the biggest thing to take away here is that gas engines are a dead technology. In 4-6 years, they'll be non-existent. We're in a huge transportation transition for personal automobiles, and now is the time to upgrade because of the Inflation Reduction Act. So if you're getting a new car, you should get an electric car. The next car you get should plug into the wall. The biggest things for me that were nerve-wracking and that might be nerve-wracking for other people is range anxiety. This thing has 80 miles of range. I'm not taking this one on a long road trip. But like other vehicles, this is a Nissan Leaf, but like Teslas, newer Nissan Leafs, like the battery technology has come a long way in 8 years. And so the new cars can deal with that range anxiety with the expanded charger network and with a better battery. So if you're worried about that, you should invest in that. If you're just driving your car back and forth to work and you have a backup and you're getting a new car, you should get one of these. They're pretty sweet. I mean, they're a great car for a teenager. If you have a teenager, they can't get farther away from you than 80 miles, 40 round trip. So, you know, it's a great teenager car. I really love this car. I think that if you are driving enough range that it would stress you out, maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you should get a plug-in hybrid. But I've been really pleasantly surprised with this car. I really love it. And yeah, I don't think it was a mistake at all. I'm really glad that I bought it.
Cool. What are the, annoying parts and what infrastructure would make your life easier owning one of these in Buncombe County?
I wish there were more chargers. Ingalls has a lot of chargers, but the one in Swannanoa where I live does not. The closest charger to there is Black Mountain Public Works has a charger over by the fire station. You do get really, because there's not enough, you think, okay, well, where's the charger? And actually, I was going to drive to the airport in Charlotte, and I was like, how am I going to do this? And with this car, it doesn't really work. Like, you can't really get there and back because there's no chargers at the airport at long-term parking. There's chargers at short-term parking. So there's still infrastructure needs there where it's like, if there were, every 10 miles there was a charging station and I knew it was going to be there, then I don't know, maybe when I go to the airport I grab lunch and like that's my charging time. Or when I get back from my flight, I take it to the charger and I go grocery shopping and then I come back and I can make it the rest of the way. So, if there's more stations, route planning and managing your battery range is a lot easier. Well, the Inflation Reduction Act, my awesome parking spot is gone.
This free spot is gone.
It's
my fault.
It's such a good spot. I couldn't believe it was available today. The Inflation Reduction Act offers rebates now. The rules are slightly different than March. That was my text message. Slightly different than March, but they're still available, so you should take advantage. If you get a new vehicle, the rebate is even more. I think it's $7,500. You have to buy from a dealer, so you cannot buy from a private party if you want to get the rebate. So that's really important. But yeah, it's I'm glad I got it. I think it was worth it, and when I get that $4,000 in April 2024,
we'll let you know in a year.
It'll be even more worth it. All right, let's power this baby down.
Any parting words?
Get a good color.